I think something that humans are inextricably linked to and lacking right now is faith. I think what humans right now need a lot of is faith. Hello there, this is Celerity, and this is 10-Minute Talks, where I talk for 10 minutes and post whatever is usable. Today we'll be talking about my tarot practice and how I feel like I can transpose that to all of you. I think, given recent times, a faith or lack thereof in systems has been incredibly important and topic, right? There's been upheaval recently in a lot of parts of our lives because the faith we had in something was unfounded, or the faith that we had in an outcome did not come to pass. And humans are looking for some kind of objective stability, objective kind of a foundation, a hard stone for which to pitch their castle. And therefore, having something as unshakable as that means that under scrutiny, under attack, they'll be okay. And I think the thing that people are looking for, but not finding, is some kind of faith. This does not necessarily mean religious faith, any of the Abrahamic religions, or Buddhism, or Eastern thought. This does not necessarily mean faith in cult-like worship to one person in particular. But if you'd like to, you can follow me. When I think of faith, I think of anything that you meaningfully put stock and hope and really the way you create a foundation for the rest of your life on, right? And for some people that is religion. For some people that is mysticism and esoteric practice. These things ground them, make them feel in touch with their surroundings and reality, and gives them a means to parse what chaos the reality is. Our world, in and of itself, is made up of conclusions, judgments, decisions we've made on the state of it, right? And all these lenses are so different that to try to reconcile ours with other people can be very, very frustrating. Because if they don't see what we see, then how could they be so blind? When in reality, sometimes our most deep, fervent thoughts in something are simply conclusions we've come to that we haven't interrogated. And when I talk about needing faith, I think where we find faith nowadays is really, really interesting. Religion is interestingly on the rise. We see a lot of individuals in their late 20s, early 30s adopting religious practice, primarily for the social aspect. There is a great increase in those spaces because as you grow older, from 18, 19, 20 into your early 30s, you find that there are less opportunities to interact with people aside of Dungeons and Dragons or work. So people tend to fall upon any kind of Eastern or Western esoterica. I think that a great place where we find faith in is sciences. And this is not to say that sciences are not real or on the same level of lofty ideal as religion. No, science is cold hard fact. It is observation on the world and the universe. However, people are very, very quick to use their scientific understanding as a means to extrapolate and perpetuate their own personal beliefs. Right? We thought that, because the world works in these particular ways, because we can essentially game or understand and precognize what's going to happen based on our knowledge of the world works, we imagine that certain things will eventually and immediately come to pass because of our faith in our observation. This is not to talk about science as a whole or as an institution, but our personal sciences, our personal perceptions on how we look at these incredible observations done over the course of thousands of years of individuals working together to make sense of the world, is we will have our own blind spots. We'll have our own personal biases. And because of that, be blind to other things, other conclusions, other real states of the world in favor of what we believe is truer. Right? And that's what I mean when I say that using science as faith, not because science in and of itself is as scrutinizable as religion, but because the way that we use cognitive bias in order to push our ends on certain degrees can make it so that our personal practice of science is as fallible as certain others. And I think that's the interesting word. I think that's the word that I want to get into. Practice, right? Not to do something again and again with the effect of getting better at it, but our personal way of conducting our faith, the way we do our things. My tarot practice has been incredibly helpful for me in terms of making sense of this world, because what it is stationed in, what it is generally set in, is this space of free association and drawing up thoughts that I'm very, very good at hiding from myself. I think anyone who has an anxiety disorder, or perhaps anyone who's in Gen Z, has the ability to compartmentalize issue, problem, and frustration. I'll deal with it later. It is what it is. The ability to continue to dissociatedly move forward, because if you do not, you will perish. While that is good for survival, it is not very good for life. It is not very good for ensuring that we are going to live a happy, full, and potent life. It's better for, making rent, getting food on the table, etc. And I think we're burnt out on living. We're burnt out on survival. We want to live something beyond that. And in order to start living in a space where you can let your hair down, you must take into account and take into a stock what has happened to your hair in all of this time. The tarot are made up of 78 different archetypes of story, idea, and scene. And to transpose our own experience on those cards allows us to put thoughts in our minds that generally are hidden or generally we put away. It forces us to interrogate, why is this archetype showing up? And why is it so pertinent to me? And I think this has enriched me. This deep amount of introspection done through these cards. I should clarify as well that while these cards have been scarily accurate for me, I don't think I'm using a traditionally mystic tradition. My practice is a lot more secular or perceptive than it is one in trust of higher powers guiding my hand. But it is as simple as, let me go through a reading I did this morning. I got the Nine of Swords, the Two of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Now, these cards individually have their own meanings. The Nine of Swords is threat closing in. The Two of Pentacles is to be able to balance two things at once, to juggle them well. And reversed means to be unable to juggle or balance or multitask. And the Queen of Pentacles is an archetype of giving, of cultivating wealth, of being able to take care of yourself or others, and that is also reversed. What do I draw from these cards? What do I draw from the spread? Well, it appears that I have an anxiety that is possibly well-founded, that in my body, because the Pentacles suit tend to be those concerning physical, material means, in my body or in my wealth, I might be seeing some problems, some issues, some lack of focus. And it is pertinent to me to get my affairs in order, to figure out what I can and can't juggle, and figuring out how to cultivate my wealth. I mean, if you don't believe in fate, the random permutation of cards allows me to make sense of my world, to give me purpose, to give me focus. And I think something like that is something that humanity is incredibly starved of right now. That ability to make sense out of all of this madness. So I feel very lucky for that. Ding, 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 10 minutes.